Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. So, what do I mean by woulda, coulda, shoulda and estate planning? Well, I think of that phrase and I think of looking back in the rear view mirror, some action that we took or some action that we didn't take. And I think of potential threats. And what do I mean by all this? Well, when we're on the road forward, and we're going along, we're either planning or not planning, we're making decisions, we're doing this, we're doing that, but we're not aware of potential threats. And therefore, we don't take certain actions or we plan in a certain way that doesn't consider potential threats. And that can lead to woulda, coulda, shoulda thinking. Now, we all make mistakes. We all, get better at things. We all kind of move along as far as making better decisions in life and being more aware of what is a better decision. But one of the ways I want us to think about estate planning and making better decisions is thinking about potential threats. So we're going forward, we're taking actions, we're doing X, we're doing Y, we're doing Z. Potential threats, in my mind, means that we have things always to think about and be aware of. What are those potential things? Well, one is what's going on with your own mind. What is going on with your mind? That means when you're going along, making your decisions, you could really be susceptible to either not taking action or taking the wrong kind of action? Do you not like to stand up for yourself? Do you always think somebody else will figure things out? Do you not want to spend the money to plan with professionals? Do you just sort of trust that everybody's going to act in your best interest? Are you susceptible to other people coming in and to doing things and you just being okay with that, or allowing somebody else's decisions to really take precedence over what you want? What are things that are always kind of in your mind that as you go along and do things at some point in time could really cause problems, really derail you, really make you think woulda, coulda, shoulda? And again, we all make mistakes and we all learn, but if we can kind of think about the things that we each have in our own minds that are really like threats to us, we can then be more open to thinking about things differently and taking different action. Maybe that means knowing that when I have to make a big decision, I'm going to get somebody else involved so I can talk about this. I'm going to get a professional to talk to. I'm going to tell this person I need time to think about this. I'm not going to jump in to do X, Y, and Z. I'm not just going to write the check. I'm not just going to say, here you go, everything's going to work out, no problems. So being aware of those kinds of mindset threats is one way to help you not get into the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Now, another way I want you to think about this is in regard to other people. So we have people in your close orbit and other people. And I just want you to think that sometimes things can be beneficial or on the surface just seem very helpful, or, you don't need to kind of look any further. But there's another side to that, and that means that things cannot be as helpful as you thought, or there may just be some other things to think about or other ways to plan, or something could actually be detrimental. So even when it comes time to a power of attorney, and you're going to name your one child as an agent. Okay, seems fine, helpful, no big deal. But let's just let things, sit a bit. What about this child? Do they communicate well with others? Are they secretive? Have they gone through their own kind of financial disasters that cause them to act very differently? What's going on that you want to think about and maybe even plan differently because of it, and not just say, well, you know, here, my oldest son, he's going to be the agent. I'm not going to think any further. And so on from there. You just think about people in ways that you want to uncover a little bit more as far as what could go on into the future that could derail what your goals are. And you're thinking about people in your close orbit, people that will be involved in your planning, involved in your life, as well as other people from outside in, coming in and really causing problems in the kind of planning that you want to think about in that way. Then I want you to think about assets themselves. And assets have inherent risks, and there can be certain planning that can just be so beneficial because of the type of asset itself, whether it's investment real estate or it's a business, or you're going to be a co-owner with somebody else in regard to real estate or a business or what have you. There are ways to think about assets and potential threats with assets that can be so beneficial. So again, you are not derailed as far as what you ultimately want and what happens. So woulda, coulda, shoulda, and potential threats, in my mind, it's a big one, and it involves a lot of thinking. And one way for you to get started with this is to just get out a piece of paper or get out a notebook, make it your estate planning notebook, and put some thoughts down. What's going on in my own mind that I want to think about as far as factors moving forward? What are things about other people that I want to make note of, whether it's people in my close orbit or outside people who could affect me? And what about the assets themselves and some potential threats in regard to assets? And we'll get into some more of all of this in some future videos, but I just want you to start the brainstorming and take some action in regard to these thoughts, because we all want to be proactive and really get better at what we're doing for ourselves and our loved ones. And I think this is a big part of it all. So this is Ruth George with Ruth P. George Law, PLLC, Trust and Estate Attorney. This video, as with any video I do put out, is for educational purposes only. It does not establish an attorney-client relationship, and I look forward to seeing you on another video.